Brou, your grade for the Cowboys. It's one of First Things First's favorite franchises.
Yes, it is.
A lot of people might come up here and say, it was a close game. You're playing a 10, 11 win team in their building. You played them well. You lost on a last-second field goal. All right? But not me. All right? I expect more from the Cowboys. Y'all know I grade tough.
Yeah.
And so Dak is exactly right talking about the little things. But the thing is this, and I think you all know where I'm going to go. They always seem to be on the wrong side of the little things. That's why they lost in Philly, right? The little things. At the end zone, Jake Ferguson, the tight end didn't get in.
That's right.
Dak stepping out of bounds. Mm-hmm. And in this game, they were about to take control. Go up 7-0, and they fumble. They weren't forced. They gave up 4 sacks as well. Dak was under a lot of pressure. And Dak wasn't horrible, but what I see is Dak has been playing. He's had a very good season. There's no doubt. But at least on the road, he can't really carry them. He's not on that Mahomes, Allen level where, like, they're not a running team anymore. They can run fine, but they're not going to, like, his whole career, like, they've just pounded the ball, and then Dak makes some great plays. They need him to carry them, and on the road, I don't think he can do it. So, look, I thought it wasn't an F game by any stretch.
No.
I thought about a C- just because they played okay. But like I said, they had their antennas up.
Whoa, that's a harsh grade.
Tough grader.
Hold on, look. They had to listen all week about how they can't win on the road. Right?
Yeah.
They were facing a team that was 0-3 against teams with winning records. I'm just saying it was a philosophical must-win. Sure. It's like we got to go prove we can beat a good team in their house, and they couldn't do it. So that's why I give them a D+.
I wasn't expecting a D. I gave them a C, and I know you're the resident professor.
Yeah.
But when I look at this game, they had every opportunity to win this game.
Yes.
Offensively, defensively, I felt like defensively, they didn't apply the pressure that we saw getting applied to them offensively.
Right.
From Miami's defense. Like you mentioned, Dak was under duress the entire game, but I felt like their offense was consistently moving the ball. They just couldn't get the touchdowns that we saw them lacking early in the season. That's what I feel like it has been the difference with the Dallas Cowboys. Defensively, they just haven't been right as of late. Like trying to get pressure on opposing quarterbacks, creating turnovers, none of those things popped up in this game. And so for me, I felt like it was a C game because they still had a chance to win this game. Despite what Dak is talking about the Miami Dolphins executing and actually delivering, the defense didn't get the stop that they needed.
That's right.
Offensively, they didn't go down and score when they had the ball. Or I'm sorry, they did go down and score when they had the ball last. So I didn't feel like they did everything to lose the game. They did more to win it than they did to lose it. Defensively, they didn't step up.
Listen, the game obviously, I thought Dak was, at first when I was listening to the press conference, I thought he was going to be talking about the fumble on the goal line. I mean, that's the game. It shouldn't be the game, but when you look, it's getting 0 when you should get 7.
How the game played out.
How the game played out, that's the game. And the one thing Brou said that I think is a little unfair is Dak did execute an excellent go-ahead drive in the fourth quarter on the road against a defense that had played great in that game and has really been playing really well since Jalen Ramsey got there. So in that regard, I thought Dak played a good game. I don't put the fumble on him. Maybe I'm supposed to. I'm not sure. But regardless, I want to say one thing about the defense, which is a philosophical mistake that I see teams make, but you would hope Dan Quinn, who might get a head coaching job, would be one who doesn't make it. In that situation, late in the game, when all of a sudden you're up less than a field goal, and the Dolphins cross into even fringe field goal territory, Dan Quinn's defensive philosophy must turn on its head too. The worst thing we can give up is first downs, not touchdowns. And it's got to be all risk, all reward plays. Like all-out blitzes, all these things to where either you're not getting a field goal or you're scoring now.
Yes.
And we're going to get the ball back down less than a touchdown. Instead, they did this death by 1,000 cuts, and the worst thing that can happen is what happened. Miami just slowly moves the ball, and they're kicking with time left. The moment they cross midfield, It's got to be zero blitzes and things like that. And that, to me, is the in-the-margin stuff. That is how games are won or lost very often, to where a Tyreek Hill 45-yard touchdown does not kill you. What kills you is a Jason Myers field goal with no time left.
Correct.
And so that's on Quinn/McCarthy.
Quickly, they also went away. Well, I don't know about went away, but they didn't get to CD Lamb in the second and third quarter.
Yep.
Like, he was great early on, and I'm sure, obviously, Miami made some adjustments. But then they go to him late, and he's great on that drive.
But to that point, if you watch that first half, CeeDee Lamb was everywhere he possibly could be as far as formation variation and lining up.
They tried.
Second half, they didn't do that as much. He was more stationary. You saw him in specific spots. They didn't move him around. He got carries out of the backfield in the first half.
Yep.
They were making a conscious effort to get him the ball. I agree with you. They didn't do that in the second half.
Time to admit Miami is the real deal. Anyone?
For me, I have to admit that this team is a lot better than what I thought they were.
Okay.
Like, offensively,
are they the real deal?
Yeah, they are the real deal.
Okay.
I'm going to say they are the real deal. And the reason why I'm going to say the real deal, because of what you were talking about, since Jalen Ramsey, this defense has taken it up a notch. Like, they're applying pressure. They're getting to the quarterback. They're creating turnovers. Like, they're getting key stops when necessary. We didn't see that early in the season. More importantly, we saw them as an offensive team. That is no longer the case.
Right.
They can win close games where they don't score a lot of points because of their defense. We didn't see that early in the season.
No, look, I agree. I got to give them some love.
Oh, okay,
when
good.
I said they were break dancers and pop lockers, it was before Ramsey got back.
Oh.
Now their defense is good. Like,
You're
it's good against the
revoking the
pass.
breakdancer
It's good against the run. They still can break dance, but they can fight too.
Oh.
They just showed yesterday that they can fight.
Wow.
So that's a nice combination.
That's a great one.
I'm gonna give them some love. I think they are right. I'm gonna put them there, Nick. Now, obviously Baltimore's a favorite, but put them with the Chiefs.
With the
those
Chiefs or
three
above the Chiefs?
You guys mentioned how impressed you were with the defensive effort. I agree. I was more impressed with their offensive line. I understand Tua gets the ball out super fast, but that offensive line was banged up. They were missing a couple guys. They also had other guys that played that were injured. The fact that Dallas's defensive front got less pressure than Miami's defensive front is a testament to their offensive line. Here's what I'll say for people still reserved, because I think right now the league is so wide open. The most talented team in the league doesn't have a quarterback, and everyone else is question marks except for maybe Baltimore right now. That if you are still holding out on Miami, if they just split their next two, you have to believe in them. They're playing Baltimore next week, where Baltimore can clinch home field advantage. Right. And if they win that, and then the next week they're playing Buffalo, with Buffalo's either playoff life or divisional hopes on the line. If they just win one of the next two after beating Dallas, you have to take them seriously.
Agreed.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.